Hey, and welcome to Turo Fitness Podcast, a podcast for people who want to get no BS information about fitness and know that fitness is about so much more than losing scale weight. It's about feeling confident in your skin and empowered in your life. I'm your host, Turo Virta, personal trainer, strength and nutrition coach, and most of all, a husband of my beautiful wife, Miriam. Each week, my guests and me will give you some no BS fitness tips and motivate you to take action in your own personal fitness journey as we talk about nutrition, exercise, mindset, personal development, and executing in life with enjoyable but still effective strategies. If your goal is to look better, feel and be strong and experience transformation from inside out, you, my friend, are in the right place. Thank you for jumping in, and now let's jump into today's episode. Have you ever finished your plate even when you were already full? Not because you were hungry, but because it was there. Or maybe because you thought, I shouldn't waste food. I pay for this. Or I can't just leave it. If that sounds familiar, this episode is for you, because this is not about food. This is about habits you have been carrying for years. And today I want to show you a very simple way to start changing that by using my P.L.A.T.E framework. And a little backstory about this story, as I am one of those Clean Your Plate club members. It is from my childhood. I have been taught, or my mom and my parents were teaching me always to clean my plate, eat everything empty. And now I'm 44 and I'm still struggling with it. I'm still, I have to do exercises I'm talking about today. Sometimes, honestly, I forget it. I still do it, or I don't do it, but it's more often than not, it have been working. And this week, one of my clients, Ingrid, was sending me picture about just two pieces, little pieces in a plate, and that was a huge win for her. So from my backstory, where that is coming from my parents, and I'm not blaming them. I actually had a conversation a while ago with my mom about this, and she was surprised. She didn't even think that that she have never thought about it. Like, of course, we do our best, and I love my mom. She's amazing mom, but these are just the small things what you are teaching to your children, and you don't know how that is impacting, and what kind of, even with the good purposes, because I'm sure nobody is doing this with the purpose or something. And it was just at the time in 80s, early 90s, was a time that there was a lot of hungry people in Africa, and there were it was all over media how people were starving, and it was kind of wasting food if you left something behind. And often, like my mom used to say that if there are people in Africa who are starving and you have a food and you are leaving it behind, and that kind of story. I'm sure if you are one of those 80s, 90s, or even earlier, you have heard about these stories. And when we talked with my mom about this, this was it was for her also. She have got it from her mom, like my grandma. And it was at the time there was in Finland, there was a war, like when my grandma was smaller. So there was really problem because there was not food available. You got coupons where you could get bread or meat or something. There was very limited sources of food, and all people didn't have it. And of course, then nobody didn't want to waste it. And that have passed now from generation to generation. And those are things that they are actually not doing good for us, none of us. And today we are going to talk about it, and how you can actually stop it for good. So I want to talk a little bit about that, my framework. It's called P.L.A.T.E framework, so P.L.A.T.E, in and it stands for P. It stands for programming, where it all started. So most of us didn't learn this habit as an adult. So we learn it as kids. Like, you, like I mentioned earlier, maybe your parents have told you, finish your plate. There are starving children, or don't waste food. And as a child, you did the right thing because you listened, and you did exactly what your mom told you to do. But now, the same habit is working against you because your body is saying, I'm full, but still your programming is saying, finish it anyway. And guess which one usually wins? So it's all from programming, how your brain is have been programmed. And this is not what you can, we later talk a little bit how to actually change it, but just to understand it, where it is coming from. So this is the P. Then L is loss of awareness. So when you always finish your plate, something important happens. So you stop listening to your body, because you don't ask, am I still hungry? Do I need more? You just eat until it's gone. And over time, you will lose awareness, you will lose control, you will lose connection to hunger. You are not eating because you need it. You are eating because it's there. And trust me, I can relate this so much. Like when I when I created this framework, and I'm how many times, if I think back now, my last week or two eating, uh, I'm eating because it's there, because it's good, and it's not anymore to connected with my hunger or awareness. It's just, and definitely most of the times I wouldn't probably need it. Like, of course, like in my case, I get out of, I'm relatively active, so it's, even if it's a let's say good things like vegetables, good sources of carbs or protein or fats, healthy fats. It's, I get out of it, but it's often too much, and that is not the point of just eating because it's just there, just and or eat it until it's gone, or it's plate is empty. And this is a real struggle what many of you, and myself included, are struggling. So then my next one is A, and that is automatic behavior. So this becomes automatic. So, like, this is at least what is happening to me. I don't think about it. I don't decide. I just finish it, because, and this is what happens for most of the people. It's automatic behavior. What is underlying there? You don't think about it. It is the way you are. And this week, like I said, mentioned earlier, one of my clients, Ingrid, uh, she told me something very simple but very powerful. Powerful, because she said, and she sent me a picture from her plate. I posted in my Instagram story, uh, quick story about it, because she told me that for the first time, for a long, long time, I didn't keep eating. I left something on the plate. And for many people, if you are not struggling with this sounds very small, but if you have been always finishing your plate, this is actually a huge step, because you interrupt the automatic pattern. And this is, like, honestly, if this is, and it requires a lot of practice to interrupt that automatic pattern, what have been programmed into your brain, into your behaviors. And to interrupt it, it takes a lot of effort. It's not easy. It might sound for someone who is not struggling that this is simple thing to do, but you will forget it. Like, trust me, I struggle myself with this exactly, and I forget it so often. And it's very challenging to get out of that automatic pattern, but it's still it's a practice. It's like doing your workouts. You start learning some new exercise or movement pattern what you are trying to improve. In the beginning it might sound, oh, this is almost impossible. Maybe you end up quitting. Maybe you end up forgetting about it. But it's with the food, like with the practices, it's a little bit different. Practices they happen 2-3 times per week, but with the food, your next possibility to improve is in within most likely within couple hours, because that is your chance for your that is when you eat next time. So this is always, because it would be unrealistic to expect that you remember doing it every single time. But more often you practice it, better you become at it, more automatic. And this was huge. Like for me, like I it made literally it was the best message of the whole week from my all of my clients, and this kind of win. This is amazing as a coach to hear. Like, it might sound for someone it's very small thing, but I rather celebrate this kind of wins than giving fist bumps for working out or something. It's they are equally important for me. So then for my framework, next one is T, and that stands for thought shift. So to change this habit, and this might be the only thing what you need to do, you don't need a diet. It's for many people. This, if you are able to change this habit to not cleaning your plate, and and it you don't need to worry about some getting into some new diet or following whatever stupid thing. You don't need to do it. What you need is new way of thinking. And here is the shift. uh, this is my one of my favorite phrases, what I like to tell myself, that uh, you are not a trash can, because your job is not to clean the plate. Your job is to take care of your body. Because think about it. If you eat food your body doesn't need, that is also waste, just in a different place. Because the question becomes, is this helping me, or am I just finishing it out of habit? And often, when you just pause, ask this question, tell it to yourself. Like, that's what I love to do when I remember to do it. I tell myself, am I still hungry? Am I feeling to starting to feel full? And then you make another decision. So am I if I start, like, it happens more often than not, it's automatic behavior. I don't think about it. I forget about it. But if you eat, and this is when it comes from your childhood, you think that, oh, this is a waste. I don't want to waste the food. Uh, uh, it's not a waste. It's waste also if your body doesn't need it. And if you are able to ask yourself these questions, is this helping me, or am I just finishing it out of habit? And when answer, there is no right or wrong answer, because it could be helping you. Maybe you had a hard workout. You were having 30,000 steps. You really need it. But is it helping you? You don't need to starve, nothing like that. But if you are just able to pause, ask these questions about from yourself, and then making another decision. Sometimes it is you will finish it. Sometimes you will leave behind. And then that last one, E, it stands for experiment. And here you have to start small. So you don't need to change everything. And like I said, trust me, I know this is a very, very, very big challenge to change. And because realistically, you will forget it. Sometimes there will be weeks, months, you don't think about it, you forget it. And then you start it. You maybe remember to do it every once in a while. And then you go back to your old habits. It is reality. It would be unrealistic to expect, or me, even if I would say that, or tell you some story here that, I did this and now I never ever struggled with that anymore. No, this is so deep inside that it's very huge challenge to change it. So you are definitely, if you still struggle with this, you are definitely not alone. And I'm one of these clean your plate club members. And not proud about it, but it is what it is, and we still can work for it. So start small. When you start changing this, start really small, because it's to expect that, oh, I just changed it like this from 30 years behavior, what you have been doing your whole life. It it won't happen. It just won't happen. But I want to give you a few examples, like what we did, for example, with Ingrid. So uh, you just leave one bite, and not half the plate, just one bite. So it's not uh, too much waste. If you it's just a practice, like you practice your workout or running or whatever you are practicing. It's just a practice to uh, change the way your automatic and stop that automatic behavior. uh, and then pause. You have to pause before the last bites. So, and you ask yourself, am I still hungry? And you should plan to leave something. And that is kind of third strategy. So you are planning actually ahead to leave something. So it's decide before the meal that I don't have to finish this. You can save it for later, so you don't have to waste it. You just don't force it now. And this is like, if you go out, like I remember we talked with in my previous podcast episode, it was one of my guests who said that this strategy, like especially if you go out and you are eating in restaurants and they have huge portions, and if you are one of these clean the plate club members, ask before they bring it that please bring half of the portion in already packed into some plastic box so you can take it with you. So there is not even the temptation to finish everything. So you don't have to fight against that your inner competitor who want to finish the plate, but you take only half of it. And if you for some reason you're still hungry, you can eat it later at home, or even take from your plastic box away. So before, like usually most people are doing it, then after, if there is some leftovers, you take it home. But for clean your tape plate members, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to leave something behind if it's there. You are not quite full yet. But if you do that decision before and not after, then you have increased your chances for success. So, and I'm sure you know this, like that, if you don't like wasting food, put it into your freezer, eat it tomorrow, or later on the day, whenever. So it's not a waste, and because the waste, it's not a waste if you are not finishing everything, and it's not a waste because it's also waste if you eat it when you don't need it. It's just in a different place, and it's more. This whole thing is all about awareness and breaking this pattern. So this habit, it's not about food. It's about control, awareness, listening to your body. And when you start changing this, everything else becomes easier because you are no longer reacting, you are choosing. And here is something simple I want you to try today. Leave one bite. If nothing else, leave one bite and that's it. Because this is just breaking this pattern, your automatic behavior. And it's not more you don't need to do. It's not perfect eating. It's not the perfect plan. It's just one small action breaking this automatic behavior pattern, what you have had for most likely years. So that's with this one action, it's all starts there because that's how you change your habits, not by doing everything differently, but by doing them one thing a little bit different than you usually. And if this episode made you think of someone who always has to finish their plate, send it to them. I really, really would appreciate that all share it in your social media, or I don't, if you think that this is valuable, but I know most of you know at least one person who struggle with this. So send it them. Hopefully it helps them. Be a good friend. And if there is anything I can help you with, you can always email me. If this episode was resonating you, what you found valuable, any tips to improve for my podcast, shoot me email or turo@fitmeetturo.com or shoot me DM in my Instagram. That's probably the best place at the moment, where I always try to reply when I can. And thank you so much for listening. I really, really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for listening and talk to you in the next episode.
Hold up, friend. Do you love Fit Me Turo Fitness podcast? If so, the best way to say thank you is to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review on iTunes. I know every podcaster wants you to leave a review, but it's because those reviews help the podcast to reach more people. I truly want to know what you think, and if this particular episode resonated with you, would you also please share it? Either send a link to someone who you think will find it valuable, or take a screenshot and post it into your social media and tell your friends and family why they should listen it. Make sure you tag me so I can hear your feedback and give you a little love. And if you aren't already following me on Instagram or TikTok, that's the perfect time to hit that follow button. Thank you for being here and listening to Fit Me Turo Fitness podcast.